think it was Courtney Messingham said you've added some weight since we saw you last year. How much have you put on?
I definitely changed my body a little bit over this off season. I think I put on 9 pounds of muscle and lost a couple pounds of fat too. So that was really my main goal. I didn't really want to change my body weight too much, but I definitely wanted to change the composition of it. So I guess I accomplished my goal in that, and I want to keep continuing to move in that direction.
Is that something you felt like you had to do after going through your first season here?
It's definitely something I wanted to do. Trying to develop more as an athlete, as a runner, and just in the pocket, being able to take hits, and just growing as a player. It was something I wanted to do. Um, and that was kind of one of the goals I set out for this off season. And I'm glad that it was what I did. We kind of talked about it after the season and kind of set out my goals. And I didn't want to put on too much more weight, in the number. I just wanted to um, you know, kind of change the composition, cut out some fat, add some muscle. So yeah.
When you reflected on last season, what did you think you did best? What do you think you need to improve on moving forward?
There's a lot of things I need to improve on. There were some bright spots, but a lot of things to build on. And first of all, just decision making, which is definitely, having a spring ball this year is going to do numbers in terms of that. And I feel a lot better. I feel more experienced in terms of that. But I mean, I could go on for days. I mean, certain throws and certain, maybe and becoming more, a stronger runner, being able to, have more breakaway speed. I could go on for days about personally what things I need to work on and improve on. And I'm just trying to continue to work on, something new every day.
And last one for me, what was your reaction when you heard Skylar was coming back for next year's season?
I just treated it as, any other news. I'm glad Skylar's back. He's a great friend of mine. We've definitely grown a lot closer over the past, over last season and even, this off season here. And he's, we've become pretty good friends, and it's good to have a guy like him around. And he's been great for me in terms of teaching me and giving me some good advice over the course of last year and even now. So it's good to have a guy like him back.
All right. Thanks, Will. Glad to hear things are going good for you.
Thank you.
Derek?
Hey, well, I don't know if overwhelming is the right word, but in terms of your true freshman season, was the speed of the game probably the biggest challenge that was in front of you?
Yeah, there were a lot of challenges, and that's definitely one of them. Getting thrown in and not really expecting to play. I mean, you want to say you're always ready, as the backup, but being asked to play in that kind of capacity was not something I was exactly, ready for. I guess you could say, but that was definitely a big piece of it, was that speed of the game and being ready to just how things move and how defenses play and how much different it is than the high school game, is definitely something that was different out there last year, and something that that the experience of having last year is going to definitely help me in the future. But it bit me at times at not having that experience. So it was definitely good to get that experience and have those games and that time under my belt to see that live.
If I remember correctly, you were supposed to be a participant for spring ball last year. You were an actual early enrollee, but you didn't get to because of COVID. But you've had spring ball this year. Knowing what you've experienced in the spring ball, do you think that would have helped you a lot more last season had you had that?
Yeah, definitely. It, I mean, being here would have helped too. I mean, I was at home for however many months we were at home, and that definitely didn't help anything. But being able to have it this year, and just getting the reps that you get, and the extra time to just work on yourself and work on the things you need to improve on personally and as a team, is unmatched. And it's definitely been really nice to have it this time around.
Skylar's back healthy. We've heard, Jaron Lewis making progress. You guys added Jake Rubley, of course, too. Just how competitive is that quarterback room from the time that you arrived?
Yeah, I love the competition, and that's something I didn't say earlier. But Skylar, having him back and having Jaron, guys like Jaron and Jake, and our whole room, we're all very close, and we all are good friends with each other. But we know that we're competing, and that's just kind of how it goes. And I really like how competitive it is, and how it kind of pushes me and pushes all of us to be better every single day.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Fitz.
Hey, Will, what did Will Howard learn about himself last year?
He learned a lot. Just I was able to grow up a lot over last year. Coming in, as a young kid, an 18-year-old, not really knowing what the college game is like, not really ever taking any snaps, not really ever, being on my own. I'd always just been, in high school living with my parents, and, I kind of had to grow up a lot in terms of, not even just on the field, off the field too. But I learned a lot about, just kind of pushing through and being able to overcome things that, were difficult. I don't want to say I had never had a football season that was that hard, but it was a difficult year in terms of COVID, and in terms of, all the things that we had to go against, and as a team, and, personally, being thrown into that, and, not really knowing what to expect. I definitely learned a lot about myself, and, how to kind of come back and combat those things that, are difficult. And, I think that as tough as it was last year, it's definitely going to, pay dividends in the future.
Did it ever feel overwhelming at times?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was tough. I didn't get to go home for however many 7 months, I think it was. And, it was a lot of, stuff that was thrown at me and at us as a team. But, I just knew that I wasn't doing it for myself. It was a team effort, and I knew I had to, just keep pushing through, because, this is all I've ever wanted. This is my dream. And at times it seemed hard, and it seemed, like it was, a tough situation. But then I think back, and you try to put things in perspective, and, this has been my dream since I was a kid, and, I'm getting to live it out. And even though things weren't going as planned, always, it was a heck of an experience, and I'm glad I had it, because it's going to help me a lot in the future, and it's going to help us be a better team in the future.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ryan.
Hey, Will, now that you've had just the months to decompress and kind of look back on last season, how do you view how it went for you? I mean, do you view it as success that you came in and did some things as a true freshman that some K-State freshmen have never done, or was just some of the struggles made it really hard to view it as a positive year for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very critical person, especially of myself. And, going back and watching the film, there were some good things that I did, I for sure. But, really looking at it, I know that I'm better than what I put out there, and we know that we're better than what we put out there. And, we've made strides as a team to, change our culture and change what we do around here and change how we practice. And I feel like it's going really well. But personally, I wouldn't say I was happy with last year. I mean, it's, ending how we did 4-6. I mean, that's never how you want to end a season. But, I tried not to get down on myself too much about it this off season. It was nice to kind of, look back at it from a higher lens, and from a different lens, then it's always different when you're in it. And then when you step away for a little bit and you get some time to think about it, and, kind of reflect over what happened last year. It was tough. It was tough at times, but, there's a lot of things that we can take and make into positives from last year, as tough as it was.
After not getting to go through spring last year, how beneficial has this already been this year for you to get these reps?
It's been really, really big for me. And for us as a team. I mean, it's, it hurt and not just me, it hurt our whole team, not being able to have a spring ball last year. And I think it's definitely helping us come together more as a unit, as an offense, as a defense, and, work on some of the things that we want to, improve on. And yeah, it's done, it's done numbers for me and for us as a team.
Well, and you noting that, where do you think, if you'd had it last year, would have been the biggest difference for you last fall?
If I had spring ball last year?
Yeah.
Probably just knowledge and understanding of our offense and, our and defenses, going against defenses, and how they move around, how, things kind of change and operate, I guess, in the college game. I was studying our offense, and I knew it, in terms of, on the chalkboard, but it's a whole different game when you get out there. And, not being able to get any live reps until the fall, definitely hurt me a little bit in that respect. And being able to, if I would have been able to have some reps under my belt and kind of know what a practice is like here, know how things work, that would have helped. And, but looking back at it, I mean, it is what it is. And, I'm getting it now. And it's definitely a really good thing that we're being able to do it now. And hopefully things with COVID are moving in the right direction.
Well, the last thing, Will, you guys lost a lot of kind of notable defenders, between Wyatt, Drew, Eli, Justin Hughes. Who's been the guy at practice that maybe it just seems like day in and day out, he's the guy like you got to really be pointing out on defense, when you're out there on offense, pointing out like, hey, we got to be looking for him, make sure we pick him up.
Yeah. We've had a lot of good guys on defense step up. I mean, we've got some good transfers. Julius Brents has been really good this spring. Timmy Horn, those two guys have really stuck out to me as guys we've struggled. They're just some dudes. They're really good players, and we all across the board we've had some really good play from a lot of dudes, on the defense. And I really like how our defense is moving, even though we, lost some guys and some notable guys from last year that are going to go do some big things and probably the next level. I think we got some really good guys behind them.